Welcome, everybody, to the Dumb Guys Do Racing podcast, a weekly automotive podcast hosted by four drivers from the PDX Sim team. Myself, Sean, followed up by Jimbo, Coach Mike, and Todd. Join us every Monday as we drop a new episode of the Dumb Guys Do Racing podcast where we talk about sim racing, motorsports, and street cars, the new up-and-coming street cars are coming out, fun cars that we would like to drive. So we're talking, the new Porsches, the new Z car, Ferrari, Lamborghini, supercars, hypercars, all the good stuff, and just kind of chit-chatting and bullshitting along the way. So join us every Monday for a new episode of the Dumb Guys Do Racing podcast. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much, and enjoy the show. Real quick, if you're a sim racer and you're looking for a new sim rig, check out the affiliate link down below for Extreme Sim Racing. I run an Extreme Sim Racing cockpit for about a year and a half now, and I love it. It's well built. There's no flex. They got great customer service. They got all kinds of products. And right now, if you buy anything through the website, you get a month of iRacing for free. I think it's a month or 3 months. You're going to want to click the link and go check it out because you get some free iRacing to go along with your purchase. And they got Sim Magic gear and all kinds of stuff. So check out the Extreme Sim Racing affiliate link. We'd really appreciate it. Plus, they got some pretty great stuff. Also, if you're thinking about starting your own podcast like we did, check out the affiliate link for Buzzsprout. We chose Buzzsprout because it's easy to use, easy to figure out. And if you're new at this thing, check them out. Check the affiliate link. On your second build cycle, they're going to kick you back $20 in Amazon gift cards. So check it out. We'd really appreciate it. And also at the bottom, there's a support the show link. That'll take you to our PayPal account. If you'd like to donate to the show, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening and enjoy the show. Our podcast, and oh man, do we have a good one for you today. The boys are with me, Jimbo, Coach Mike, Todd. Jermaine is back with us, and then our special guest, YouTube streamer, Grove Street Racing. Welcome, my friend.
Hey.
Hey everybody! Did we get a round of applause for that too?
Oh yeah,
Sean.
Oh yeah.
Oh, perfect. Good, because we can't hear it on our side.
Nope.
Sean keeps it to himself.
I do.
Yeah.
You know it.
Thanks for the
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Listeners get to hear it. That's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to have you on. I mean, we've been talking to you for a couple months about coming on, so I'm glad we could find some time and bring you on. So it's always a pleasure to race with you. Usually we start out with just, this last week's racing. How did you, recap. How did you like this week's races?
I thought they were pretty good. I mean, last week's were Autopolis and everything, and then this week, I can't even remember what race he is. I have to go look at it right now. We've been already getting ahead, doing focused on
right. Yeah, Nürburgring
GP.
GP.
Group 3,
right.
911.
Same as Manu round one. I mean, I was using the Porsche for most of it. At times, I was trying other cars, but I never really found comfort in anything else.
Yeah,
the way the Porsche was working for me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, Porsche for me. Tried a couple different cars, but yeah, overall stability and just getting around the track quickly. Yeah, exactly. Tire wear was good, and you could go the distance because I was lapping at the end of pit 2 or my second lap and pitting, and started 11th in one and finished in 5th in that race. So yeah, it was the way to go. So
nice.
Field. Love it.
So I guess the next question would be, when do you, when it comes to your daily or weekly races, when do you start practicing? Do you start practicing on the Sunday before, or are you trying to get information as soon as possible and start practicing as soon as possible?
It definitely depends if there's a Manu exhibition or official available, because that'll change the schedule, change what people want to see. But if it's nothing else going on, as soon as those are posted, if we've already been doing other stuff all week, that's a good way to change it up. Just, trying to keep it fresh. Because you guys know from watching my streams, it gets like repetitive with daily races. Try to do whatever else is available, the time trials.
Right.
There's not enough in this game still. I should go do campaign, but that gets boring.
Yeah. Campaign does get boring. Straight online.
So,
baby.
how long have you, like, when did you start playing Gran Turismo? I guess that's a good start right there. When did you start playing Gran Turismo?
I guess, let me do the math real quick. How long has it been? 32 minus 9. That's like 20-something years, like since I played the first one. It's a long ass time.
Okay.
25 years ago. Okay.
Like
a while
us.
ago, yeah. I had my stepdad's brother brought the game over when we were at their house one day, used from a store. It was like 99. The game had been out for like a year already, and playing it like with those older guys, I was like already like doing okay in like races, a high speed ring, and all the traditional ways to play the first game. So long time I've been playing the game, and I got really serious around like 2015 and joined some private leagues that were really strict on the stewarding and the rules. One was called Snail. That was the one where I gained the most skills from. So it's been a long time, long journey.
Wow. Okay.
That's crazy. How long have you been? How long have you been using a wheel of some sort?
14 was when I got the wheel, and then I realized like before the wheel I was like kind of talented. With the wheel I was like, all right, let's see how I do in a league where it's like really pressure on me. I had done like in some endurance stuff where you kind of learn a combo as you drive it for a couple hours, but the league Snail was like a big organized change for me, like really learning how to overtake cleanly to the level that you guys expect from me now. So
right. Wow.
Took a lot of time to get to the level I'm at today.
Yeah. Well, that's what we say.
How long
you're a hard worker, and you put you could tell you put the work in to get it done.
I appreciate that.
How long did it take you to adjust from going from a controller over to the steering wheel?
So for me, I mean, I've met a lot of people, and I've tried to help people adjust from that same transition. But for me, I don't think it took that long. I had already driven a real car for a long time before that like a manual car. I had an Audi A4 at the time I bought that wheel, like a 99 B5 A4.
Nice.
And that I feel like the wheel and real driving kind of are very similar. If you have a ton of experience in real driving, I think that makes it easier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, that's funny because we talked to Jermaine. Is there a big crossover between the actual racing that he does and the racing that he does on Gran Turismo? And Jermaine can tell you it is helpful. It's not the same thing, but it is helpful.
Yeah, and I have a 2-part question for you, bro. So, what does sim racing mean to you, and how long have you been streaming?
So streaming was because of someone who told me, why don't you start a YouTube channel? This guy named Jacob Boss, who was actually the friend / manager / like filmmaker behind Lester for a period of time. He like went to Monaco with Lester and met Kaz, this guy. I was working with Lester and people when we were calling our team of friends that was PX7 at the time was called Turismo. And this Jacob person told me to start the channel. And from there I was like, I'll just stream only the Manu events and the Nations Cup events. That's how I really started what I was doing and kind of developed things. But that was like 2018, like the late 2018. So 2019 really is when I began streaming regularly. And about halfway through last year, I just really like stopped caring about taking days off and was just determined to do every single day that I could as the new game came out and really be dedicated to GT7 in a different way to my streaming.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could tell because we saw your subscribers they just started shooting up like crazy.
And now that it's become like kind of like more viewed by the community and everything, I get a lot of messages from people and lots of great feedback from amazing people like Jermaine. Now it's kind of the point where sim racing does mean a lot to me, Jermaine. I mean, I'm trying to help people out all the time in my normal daily jobs as a coach, as a teacher, and then sim racing is another big one that I care a lot about what I do here. But I haven't played other games a lot yet. On my channel, just like in private. One day I'll branch out to some other parts of sim racing. Some people wouldn't lump Gran Turismo in with sim racing because they're snobby.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Totally. Racing snubs.
Right.
It's not Forza, but it's also not racing, so I get that.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because my first interaction with you was asking you how to turn my V3 pedals on so I could get rumble in my pedals. And again, you're just like immediately cool about it. Number one, you've always been cool to race with, even though you're faster than we are. I mean, Todd might be getting to your level now. Todd's put in a ton of work.
Oh yeah, he's super fast.
But you, right off the bat, I really appreciated the fact that you came back, because I was like, Grove is somebody that quite a few people know. So you coming back and immediately being like,
I've known some people in PDX for a longer time than just recent years.
Right, yeah. That's cool. Yep. That's cool.
I've been in this community for a long time for sure.
I mean, we all started off. I mean, I started off with one. When I was, however many years ago that was, a million years ago, and then I just decided to start doing online racing when the pandemic happened. So getting on and watching, the popular streamers, especially taking hints from them, watching you, trying to follow you the best I can when you're in front of me, which is nearly impossible. Just trying to see what lines you're taking and learning from you. I think a lot of people that want to get faster need to do that and just watch your stream also and see how you're taking the lines differently than how they might be taking it. What has made you faster? I guess that's is it just time behind the wheel? Do you study actual racing? What do you do to make yourself faster?
The number one thing for sure, and I think this is the same exact strategy in all sports as well. I have like private clients as a soccer coach, and parents will ask me like, what can my kid do to like be like the best player possible? And my typical answer is like, we need to like, get them on a squad with like the best players around them and let them develop around like real talent and learn from, other people around them. And that's what joining PX7 was for me. I was around people like Lamb, who's now a double world champion Man U driver, Windfire, who's really good, Defsun, who you guys have seen before, also really successful with all that stuff. So that's like the number one thing, but there's obviously a lot more to it. Just like, not quitting is another one. Having a really good attitude is one that my people who are on the GSR, like team squad around my channel, a lot of those guys have a good attitude. So that's why they're a part of that. That's another big part of it. But it's also your equipment too is a big deal. I have friends that are just now getting wheels and things, and I'm like, you got to just make sure it's super solid, that your position you're sitting in, your pedals, your wheel, all that really can't be moving. Even if you have a desk setup, you got to find a way to make things not move. So all those things together, it can, if any one of them's not right, it's going to be harder. But if someone has all the talent and all the equipment, all the good people around him, like my friend Alex from online, I don't think he's been playing the game that long, but he's already really fast. So some people come in and move a little quicker.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then
some people just have talent.
Yeah. I'm a 40-year-old man, so I got to work a little bit harder. Get that done.
At least, I mean, we're not old like Vogs. I mean, Vogs is like 55 or whatever, but he's still fast.
I'm 32, and I really got serious. Like I said, like around like 25, 26 is when I joined those private leagues and was trying to get better. Dude. I know some kids that are like, really young, can't drive a real car yet, that are like at my level or higher.
Right.
So
it's insane.
Everyone's got their own pace with it. And I'm really optimistic about people getting better at anything also as a teacher and a coach. I like have to be, but I know some people who aren't. I'm like the most optimistic person out there with like, can someone become A+? Can someone go further with their driving career? I'm like, hell yeah. Like just, you got to give it everything you have and reach out to experienced people and get, start from there.
Yep. You got to have that Jordan Kobe mentality, man. Grind and work.
I make fun of the oldest guy on the team, but he also is one that we sort of were at the same level when we first started racing with him, and he's surpassed us, and he's the fastest guy on the team right now.
I got him right now. I got him right now on Nations.
Oh, do you?
Nations right
do
now.
you?
I got that time.
Oh, nice.
I got him by a few times.
But Todd is, Todd's fast. Todd's really fast, and he's put in a ton. Oh, Jermaine,
him and Jermaine,
Jesus,
and it's nice because it pushes us to be like, okay, I just got to get those couple extra tenths, man, and just keep pushing and pushing. I did that today and was able to get it down there, just a few extra tenths, getting that push on.
Yeah, so what? Oh, that's cool. I just had a question it just completely blew out of my brain. Mike, There's a good one. Mike, do you have anything for Grove? Any questions?
Mainly like leagues. When you racing in leagues and that, did you find more benefit in racing with the leagues of race cars or road car leagues?
Well, I guess from the standpoint of like Gran Turismo, does it make you better for the competition? Like most leagues, or most of the competition for like Man U and Nations is mostly race cars. I would say. I came up from a league that they ran a very like mixed variety of stuff from that snail league. I put like 5 years into that league, and I don't run it anymore, only because on Sundays, like they run like right now, essentially they'd be like towards the end of their stuff.
Oh wow.
Just wasn't like conveniently timed for me as far as like streaming too. A lot of people would rather watch daily races. I found, as far as my viewers, they're not really interested in private leagues, but I definitely think that the mix of cars helped me out as far as being ready to like take on the challenges of Nations and stuff like that, where I really don't care what car I'm going to drive. I'm going to give it everything I have, even if it's like a GR1 or something I'm not comfortable with the speed of or the tires. I'm just going to, keep grinding it until I feel comfortable at some point, hopefully. Okay. And typically that's how it works out. So I have confidence when it's not going well that it'll turn around.
All right. Well, then that leads me to another kind of would be what's your preferred car class and least preferred?
That's easy.
Historically,
Ferrari.
it was, yeah. That's definitely, I mean, for sure, I drive the GR3 and 4 so much that it's definitely, those are the ones that I'm warmed up on most of the time and ready to like do work in. So those are probably my favorites now. But historically, where I shine the most is probably in road cars, like lower stuff. The slowest stuff is where I look the best, actually. One of my first like really good daily race times that like my friends who are all these like world tour drivers couldn't beat was on like the Copen at Tokyo or something like that. Okay. It was just like a really absurdly slow car. So I'm sure I can still do that now, but I don't get those opportunities to run the slow cars like that.
Yeah. Well, what it comes down to is being smooth, I guess, and keeping momentum up in those cars.
Yeah, and it's like you can really send it, and you get like a lot of feel. There's a lot of like time to set up, and I'm still like really strong in those cars. I'm strong in a real car because everything is a lot slower than what this game is like. Like normal speed cars is probably where I'm the best at.
Yeah. Do you enjoy daily A's at all?
I do, but it's like I know that's not where my viewers really want me to be at, especially when C and B are so good normally. A is usually kind of like this week's A is, I did one at the beginning of my stream. The McLaren race is really fun. Not a slow car there, but yeah, I do mess around with all three of them, but it's mostly C and B, depending what's going on. And obviously Man U and Nations are like what I'd say the majority of the GT community wants to look at if it's around.
And that's happening. Are you pushing to hopefully one day make it World Series? Head out to
I've been on the cusp of qualifying several times and not gotten over the line. I had a couple exhibition seasons where I finished like top 5 in the region for Nations and Man U and Toyota. Nice. So I know if I push really hard and like I'm dedicated, I can get it done. And it's always been a factor of like how much time can you put in.
Yeah, exactly.
For everyone, that's going to be a different number. But for me, I'm going to have to give everything to eventually hopefully get that. But it's really, I've realized over time now that YouTube's especially doing better and better. I don't really even have like an idea of how far that could go. I'm not really concerned anymore about qualifying now that I have that.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
I feel like helping people out and teaching people how to go faster is as rewarding as qualifying for that. That would just be like a nice like cherry on top if I got that done.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome.
Go see some friends.
Right, for sure. Could you break down your setup that you're using right now?
Yeah, and it's in the description of every video that I release the streams. It's a custom-made rig that's based off a Track Racer TR160, which is like their larger aluminum rig that they have a kit for. There was no kit when I built it because of COVID. There was like a supply shortage and they didn't have any full kits, but they had their side mounts for my Fanatec direct drive DD1 wheel, the Podium F1 wheel. I have that side mounted with Track Racer side mounts on my metal end bolts that I bought privately, and I have their pedal plate underneath my V3 inverted pedals. So I have Track Racer pedal plate and side mounts, Fanatec wheel, Fanatec pedals, and my seat is from a play seat. I just took the play seat off the play seat and bolted it to the aluminum rig.
Oh, nice.
On my own. And I have a video of all that too when I did.
And is your monitor or TV mounted to the rig, or you have it pretty much like in front of where that's
probably the least professional part of my setup. Is it's on like a large wooden kind of like TV like kind of wall unit thing.
Right.
It's like a full 6 feet away from where my eyes are, so it's like
Oh.
really far for like someone who's like trying to take this seriously.
Right.
And eventually I might get like a monitor stand and I'll be able to get things closer because my rig is long and like this wall unit is at the base of the rig.
Okay.
Like, you know, the two rails that everything runs down. So
Right.
I can't really get it any closer right now, but luckily bumper cam is a very zoomed in view and my angle of everything is like, you know, very comfortable the way it is now.
Okay.
My TV could be replaced. My TV is a 2010 Samsung Plasma TV, maybe an 09 TV, and it's got like lines on it.
Right.
It's the TV that I bought with Gran Turismo 5 on the same
Oh,
night for PC Richard.
right.
Oh wow.
I
Oh,
might honestly just like have
Yeah, I
to do,
love
like,
that though.
PayPal.
That's
That
awesome.
is.
I need like
Yeah.
a PayPal Pan 4 deal on like a nice TV.
There you
Hopefully
go.
in the next couple months.
And they're
after all
getting
my
cheaper
bills are paid.
too, so that's the good thing.
They are. They
Like a
Yeah,
nice
you can
OLED
get it.
display to match this.
Ooh, yeah, with the yeah.
So what's
really
what's the
good.
most important part of your rig? Would you say is it the direct drive
question.
base? Is it your pedals? Is it what is the most important thing to you?
It's the pedals for sure, I think. And that's why like a lot of people who do really well on Thrustmaster and Logitech, I give them even more respect because those pedals are like very short travel sometimes.
Yeah.
You have like the older stuff that they can break easily that's hard to maintain. I love having my pedals just work perfectly, and my V3s work really well. So when, like I said earlier, or someone said, they do vibrate too. Mine currently don't because my vibrator motor must have like gone out. I'm not sure why mine
Oh.
stopped about 6 months ago, but I've had these for 5 years and I've never really had like a problem that stopped me using them.
Right.
Except when the load cells can bend, they have like a bad design,
Mhm.
and Fanatec will just send you a replacement quickly. And I've used 2 of those now.
Yeah.
I think I could repair it if I wanted to. At this point, I could like fix it at home and not get another one if I
Right.
really had to.
Yeah, I love the
So-
V3s. V3s are
They're a big
great.
part of the experience. Like having decent pedals helps.
And you like the inverted? How is the inverted using those? Because I just have the
These were
regular
on
setup.
sale when I got them, is why
Oh,
I bought
okay.
inverted
Oh,
rather
okay.
than anything. I got these on a Black Friday sale in 2017 before I even had a Fanatec wheel, and I was using these with my G27 with a drive hub on GT
Oh,
Sport
shit.
about 6
Okay.
months after launch.
Oh,
And,
nice.
Wow.
they're really nice, honestly. I'm pretty happy with them overall. It's a long time that I've had them. They're nice, like metal design, so they're not going to break.
Yeah.
They don't really care if my dog's hair gets inside them, which
Right.
is nice.
Right.
There's plenty of that around, and
Yeah,
the
it's-
Logitech pedals didn't like it.
Yeah,
the dust in
easy
here.
cleaning for sure on those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I suffer with
They're
Logitech.
easy to take apart. Also, if you
Yeah.
have to do something.
Yeah, super.
It's $300. I think they're better than I've used some $700 pedals, $1,000 pedals, like Housingveld pedals, when I'm with my friend who has a sim racing business, and I think these are comparable easily.
Oh, okay. Awesome. That's
Good
good to
consumer
know.
advice.
Now, do you do anything outside of sim racing? Have you tried real racing, karting, anything like that, or have you just been sim racing and that's all?
So in 2019, I like did some event planning with my friends from Turismo at the time. It wasn't PX7 yet, and we met up in Montreal at F1 in 2019. And I have like stuff
Ooh.
from this on my Instagram. And I had booked Airbnbs for everyone. I like booked like a karting experience for us at this place called iCar in northern Montreal area. It's about like half an hour north of Montreal. And then I did a track day on the Sunday. Everyone else went to the race on Sunday. I had done everything else. I did the karting the day before, and then I did a track day on the Sunday. And that was like my one experience doing a bunch of karting and the track day like all at once. I haven't done any of that since, unfortunately, but I do drive on real roads in Connecticut, and there's some kart experiences that you guys have seen with my like private track that's near my house. That's not really a track. It's like a parking lot of like a church over here.
Hell yeah.
So stuff happens.
Right.
But I have some experience in karting, and with the karting, I learned a lot from Lester. He's like a world-class karting guy. He broke the record at the place while we were there by a significant amount. We 4 of us broke the record at iCar when we were there. Because it was Def Son, it was Lester. There's other fast people that we
Right.
knew there. Like Outlaw Quadrant was there.
Damn.
AMS Dude was there. We had like a large crowd come out to my event that I planned. So that was the real, like there's a video of this too. That was the experience that I have in a track day in karting.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like
That's
a lot of
awesome.
Very cool.
That's
That would
awesome.
be a
Now-
blast.
Because of COVID, we weren't able to do that the past couple of years. Now
Right.
tickets are expensive.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Insane.
Crazy.
I'm glad we
The
did it.
costs.
Now, the question, I guess the next question is, what race series do you watch? Like professional or even amateur race series?
I used to watch a lot of F1, especially like 4 or 5 years ago. It was like really always watching like the onboard compilations of like the whole race, but onboard only. Like really like a very passionate race fan over Formula One. And endurance series stuff, World Endurance Championship is also my favorite to watch. I actually grew up loving endurance racing more than anything else, and I still like it a lot. Like so Daytona 24, Le Mans, when Spas has their 24, the Nürburgring 24, I try to watch those when the community like reminds me that this is this weekend kind of thing. I'll find out from somebody else usually.
I know. I want to say they just had the Dubai 24 or something, or Bahrain 24.
Daytona's like in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna be
next weekend.
Next weekend.
Saturday it starts.
I would love to go to that event. I don't think this is gonna be the year, but I'll probably try to go one day when I have the time and the money to go.
Right, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that's the way. I would love to get all of us to go to Le Mans.
That'd be the bucket list one. Right. I've never been to Europe either, though. So. Yeah, I'll start with Daytona.
Right.
Yeah, it's just it's racing has always been something that I think all of us have been into. I can remember watching the original Daytona 500 when they had the giant 80-pound cameras in car.
Right.
Those are some of the first ones. Or I can remember the Grand Prix of Long Beach in the old kart series.
Yeah, started off the season. Yeah,
I remember kart. Yeah, that was great. I love that series.
Way back when.
Old Paul Tracy. He was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Bobby Rahal.
Right?
My buddy Mario Andretti,
Dude, yeah, that was so good.
And then back
Mario,
in the day.
Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sebastian.
So, Sebastian Bourdais.
Yeah. He was in there a couple of years before they transferred over and joined Indy.
Yeah. Shoot, I've run out of questions. Anybody else have anything to
what do you think about the VR details that came out here this past week? Are you excited for that?
So
what do you
it's
think
full
about
multiplayer. It's everything, right?
Yep. Online.
This is what they should have released on the first one rather than tricking people, because that's sort of what they did.
Yeah.
They were advertising it for Gran Turismo, and then they put one event in there, and it's like, come on.
Right.
What have you done? Why did you do people like this? And then Oculus is probably still superior to the PSVR at the moment. I don't know what the specs of this device are, but it's nice to know that you can play GT completely with it. Yeah. I don't think I would get it. I told my chat yesterday I would only get it if they demand that I get it, and then I'll let them know how it is.
Right.
It's pretty expensive, that device.
It is. Yeah. Let them know. You can let them know to head over to my channel because I pre-ordered it. I got some bonus money from work, and I said screw it once I heard the details. So I
have the Roku TV too, but I didn't think that that's something that I need right now.
Right.
So.
I'm gonna give it a shot and see what it's like, so I can let these boys know if it's good or not.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of potential.
I think so. I think dropping that bomb about the online stuff, that was the nugget. That was the nugget that's gonna get everybody. Is the online stuff. And then too, I mean, the Quest, I heard the Quest guys got a hold of it and were messing around with it, and they were pretty impressed. So that's a good sign.
Good.
And then I know I watched a video with a guy using it just on some regular games, but you're able to put the headphones on and they fit comfortably and they don't interfere with anything. So if you have the Pulse or the other Sony headphones, they should work pretty good. I think all headphones should work pretty good with it, so you should still be able to wear your headphones. I'm curious if you're going to be able to go and live stream with it, though. That's what I'm wondering. Probably not, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I can't wait for it.
Now, are there any streamers that you pay attention to?
Yeah, especially the bigger ones. The two that come to my mind first, or three even, are the ones that I just run into the most on track, which is Z28's one that I bump into all the time when he does his streams. He's a little less consistent now, but he's somebody that I knew was a big streamer way before I even started my YouTube channel. I remember he had followers and went to the first World Tour event in Vegas for North America. So he's somebody that I have a great relationship with and race with really well. But also I know tonight, if I didn't have work tomorrow, I would stay up for my channel and I would go to the European region and race with Key and Rory.
Oh, okay.
They're two guys who are very dedicated to their streams, who have big followings, that when I do go join the region that has the most active players when the new daily races come out. It's fun to race with them and their communities and be the only American like in those lobbies, and there's some people who think that like Americans aren't quick that are part of
Right.
Key's community and Rory's community, and that's like a real thing. So it's fun to like be in there and like prove it wrong and give those guys a good run every time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those are always my favorite streams.
Yeah.
Watching the game.
Right. Representing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the only
I see
people who
that.
think that are like inexperienced, lower level drivers, but
Yeah, I see
it's
that quite
definitely
often.
something I hear about from people. And there's comments that Key has made of stuff like that I don't know if that's like exact words, but people have said that he mentioned things like this, and he goes in the U.S. region and like goes during the daytime and will say these things sometimes when he's racing.
Yeah, but I always say it like he always goes when there's nobody in the North American region on.
Exactly, yeah. No, he always does, and it's like I really like him a lot, so I don't hold it against him.
Yeah.
He's a great driver. He actually is really knowledgeable when he's breaking down new dailies, and he has a very strong community of people that support him. And his family, like, eats off that work he does. So he's a big inspiration for me as someone like trying to make YouTube work. That like his example is a really good one for me to follow. Is like the way he runs everything. Honestly, he's doing exactly what I want to do as a career. Whether I have my other careers or not. It's what I'm trying to do. Also,
now that we're technically just shy of the 1 year. What are your current thoughts on what? I guess the progression of GT7, where it is now, where it should possibly be heading.
I mean, they started it out like really. It seems like through the life cycle of the game so far, the 9 months, 9.5 months, they've been like testing like every possible variation of how they could lay this game out. We've had several tire models, several BOP adjustments, several physics like kind of changes as well, where like in the beginning the physics were very different, the tires were very different on like launch than they are today. They were like almost like iRacing levels of like low grip and everything. People were having to go up 2-3 gears to find traction out of hairpins and FR and other cars. I think it's headed in a good direction though. I'm not the one to complain about like how dirty air is or any like things that other people typically complain about, so I'm always been happy with just having this game around. There's not a lot of games like it.
Now, why do you like it better than ACC and iRacing?
Well, for one, I never had a
GT7.
PC to play those ones until recently. I had a viewer of my channel donated a gaming PC to me about 2 months ago, and that PC has a graphics card and is way better than anything I've ever owned. So now I totally could play iRacing or the ACC tomorrow if I wanted to just download them and try to set it all up and link it to my larger display. But I haven't really gone to those steps yet. GT is just the easiest one for me to play, and I've played iRacing and ACC and other setups of other people, but there's definitely an element to GT where it's just easy to like jump on and get things done. Those other games, there's not always like tons of lobbies. You have to like wait around. I don't play them a ton, so I can't even really comment that much on how those ones run.
Right. Yeah.
Have you tried the PlayStation's ACC?
I have not. I've heard a lot of people say there's like frame rate issues, and it's like not quite the same as the PC one that I've played a couple times, and that one looks great. So I've never really bothered to buy it, even though it might have been something cool to stream for people.
Yeah, PS5 version works good. PS4 version was horrible.
PS4 version was awful.
PS5 version doesn't have frame rate.
Very close to PC. Not quite, but very close, because I have it on PC also, and the only reason you should play it on PC is I think the lobbies are probably bigger.
Oh yeah, there's no one ever on, especially once you get into the night on ACC. You got to be on during the day.
So what do you do? What do you do when you're not racing? I mean, it seems like you're racing all the time, and you've talked about your work, teaching and coaching and stuff like that. What do you do in your free time besides race?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to just add on one thing that he just said before. The community for this game is another big attraction to it. Like the community around Gran Turismo is not like other sim racing games. I think that's a special part of why I stick around here. I will always will. But my other stuff that I do, I coach soccer. Like I said, I teach elementary school, first grade as a special education aide this year. I had other roles as a teacher before. I typically will play like soccer on my own, even though I'm a coach. I still like an active player. I've played at like a close to professional levels, a couple times before, and right now I'm pretty solid. So I actually played earlier today.
Nice.
And had a great time. There was somebody recording stuff, but I'm not gonna beg him for footage or anything. I have one soccer video already, and another video I made about like other stuff I do is I go fishing, like saltwater fishing. I live near Long Island Sound in Connecticut.
Okay.
And I have like waders. I have a kayak. I have a lot of years of experience like fishing in saltwater, trying to find like state record size of all the stuff out here. And I don't do that as much anymore because of Gran Turismo a lot. Like a lot back in the day, I used to just spend all my time doing that. And I'd get home late and play Gran Turismo in the middle of the night after I get home from fishing adventures, whenever.
So you do diving as well? Or it's just on the aisle?
Wait, what'd you say, Jermaine?
Did you dive as well, or it's just in the kayak?
Diving would be so sick. Honestly, I watch like diving channels and stuff like that. It would be cool to have some like a face mask and go down off the kayak. I mean, it would be also kind of scary because there's definitely like seals and sharks and stuff like that out here. But it would be cool. I definitely enjoy being on the water.
Well, I wouldn't even be in a kayak.
Yeah, no way.
It's super fun. I have like some great experiences that like I'm look forward to sharing more of that. Like as time goes on, it's going to be something that I try to bring more of to my channel, just because it is part of like, for real, like before I was like streaming or anything, that was like my main thing. I spent like probably 4 or 5 years going fishing like every other day, every 2-3 days, no matter what.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that
I don't really take it as seriously anymore. I don't have the motivation to go out sometimes in the cold, especially.
Yeah, I hate the cold.
My equipment's not. My equipment needs to be replaced as well, so that's another thing holding me back. But it's all a matter of time with that stuff. At some point,
Yeah,
I'll enjoy my fishing here and there and still be able to stream.
Oh yeah.
So, what would your advice to be to anybody that is wanting to become? I mean, it's sort of obvious what it should be, but what would your advice be to anybody that wants to become closer to a professional streamer and just improving everything on Gran Turismo? Is it just that time put in, just hours and hours of streaming, hours and hours of racing in general?
Yeah, and watching what other people do as well, learning from other people. I remember I was on YouTube first, like I said, about like late 2018. I think in the end of 19 or the beginning of 20, I started using Twitch a little bit. Yeah, I went to Twitch for a period of time. I had some really great experiences on Twitch. People kind of like telling me what was like the best practices on Twitch, the meta way to do things. And I had found a channel that had the voice chat robot that I now use. There was a chat robot on a channel called Chad Rice that's on Twitch that he still streams now. He's an Australian streamer, and like things like that, like learning what works, what doesn't, and what things like, other people do successfully makes a big difference. And it's also certain channels as well, like researching what you can do to make your setup better. It took me a long time to get my entire setup working as well as it does now with like if I have somebody like join my chat, like the chat will hear it still and I can hear them and everything just works appropriately with the audio and all the different factors around producing a good stream.
Right. I love racing as a hobby, and I always would like to be faster, but I don't want to turn my racing into my job because I'm always scared that it's going to take away from the enjoyment that I get. It just becomes too serious. I find that happens it happened last year when we were racing in the Porsche League and we were doing, all of the daily races and all of the, nations and manufacturers series. How do you keep focused and how do you still have a good time when you're putting in so many hours?
I think it's just because I'm somebody who also like grew up like watching Top Gear, and I'm super passionate about cars, especially today, like more and more. I feel like there were periods of my life where I like went off to other things and was like obsessed with like soccer and fishing. Motorsports has been there and came back and become stronger multiple times, and I think that's why I don't mind putting all the effort into dailies and Man U and nations and constantly doing the same things. There was a period of time where I thought streaming was like not something I was interested in. Like I said, somebody told me to make my channel and was like, you should do it, like don't be scared. And I think that becoming a soccer coach was like the same exact thing. I didn't think I wanted to do that. I was more focused on my own playing career, and I thought that would be a waste of time. It turns out that like, doing those two things were like great ideas for me, and now they're my 2/3 of my income. I make most of my money from teaching, but soccer coaching and sim racing are right behind it, and they're growing more and more each year.
Wow.
I'm really lucky to make money the way that I make money.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Do you have a favorite track in GT7?
The Nordschleife, for sure.
Both mine.
And I think GT5 is where that started. There was There was like a thing where you had to get like gold medals at the Nordschleife, and I thought this is like so overwhelming. Like, who is this, focused for 100 corners, in one lap?
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, I was able to get it done. So ever since then, it's been a track that like I've always enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's the best. I love it.
Oh boy.
I hate it so much.
Right.
It's got lots of variation. Like there's like several different areas of the track that are different. There's like some slow sections, some fast sections.
Oh yeah.
Definitely my favorite. It's the most like the roads where I live as well in Connecticut.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
guess
do
kind of why I like it a lot too. It's not a racetrack, but it is a racetrack, but it's very road-like, but it's not road-like at the same time. Like it's got everything you'd want, in a track, and it's so long and demands so much of you. That's I think why I love that track myself.
See, I love it as a time trial track, as actually having races on it. It's so narrow that there's, you have a couple passing opportunities, and it becomes super frustrating for me. And I don't need necessarily a giant big wide track, but that track is it was built for cars, 60, 70, 80 years ago.
True.
That's just how I feel about it. But it also probably makes you a faster driver if you can tame the green hell.
That's for sure.
Yeah, the concentration level you have to have again.
A big part of that track is avoiding the curbs. If you're in a car that unsettles on the curbs, and that they're all over the place there, it's narrow. So like learning the curbs, learning the positioning is like how you get through that one. It's hard to remember where to set up for each area of the track, but once you get it, I still learn stuff every time I drive it, honestly.
Same, I agree. Knowing that certain curves to touch and certain ones not to.
Yeah, it's the kind of track full of parts you have to set up like 3-4 corners before you have to set up your position right for the first part to hit the last part.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's talking about setup. Do you dabble in setups on your car? Do you dabble in adjusting your suspension and doing anything like that when we've had races in the past where we've had tuning? How do you feel are you good at it, number one? And what do you have for people if you are good at it, like advice to get your car set up to where it drives like you need it to, the fastest as it can?
I would say that between all the Gran Turismo games, I've been decent at tuning. It really was more relevant to me in GT 5 and 6, where it was like more the only thing to do, and now there's like all the sport mode stuff where it's not necessary often. There's been times where I've done tuning series where I have to make my own tune, and not like reached out to somebody else to make it for me, and done really well against people who are known for making tunes. Like this one time against this guy named AMS Dude, who's known for making really good tunes in our community. I beat him in a race where we both made our own tune in the GR4 BRZ or FRS in sport. It wasn't in this game, but someone like him's a good resource to go to find tunes for all types of cars. If you look at the people who make videos for tuning, often the best tunes are all, like very similar, like the min-max kind of stuff where you go max this, minimum that on the dampers and things like that can sort of work. And there's a lot of things that really only work in Gran Turismo but aren't like good tuning advice in real life. Sort of unrealistic.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this works. And I mean, best advice for that is really just reach out to channels and people who know about it, because there's things with the differential and ways to break the car. There's been updates on like the tuning that have changed the way all that works with the PP system when it was really broken at launch. So tuning is a big can of worms that I don't really waste time on at this point.
It's funny you say that, because it's like we laugh about that all the time, but the tuning of Gran Turismo being whatever you think in reality, just do the opposite in Gran Turismo.
It can be like that,
So
we're in a tuning league with a bunch of guys from England, so it's interesting. I just let Mike do it. I'm like, Mike, you know how to do this. And then he gives me his tune, and then I go in and might adjust a couple of little things here and there. But Mike's gotten pretty good at it. And, well, I don't think the last couple of races have been great for us, but I think it's the car, too. I think we really have a great car.
The fastest setups tend to be the loosest setups in Gran Turismo.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's with the car we have. It's a great car. It's a fast car setup, but it's one of those things to get it going. You make a mistake, it's gonna kill you.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah. The car likes to turn. It really, really likes to turn until it doesn't. That's the worst part.
Yeah. Like realistically, though, a lot of it comes down to driver error and setting yourself up for that section properly and that. So,
yeah, absolutely. Oh, here's a good one. Do you have any questions about us PDX guys?
Yeah.
I guess when did you guys begin, and who was like the founder of PDX?
Sean. Sean really was the one who started it.
We both did, but...
Well, Sean was the one... Okay, so Sean and I have a mutual friend. Sean's wife went to school with him, and the reason I really got back into it was because Drew was like, hey, Sean does this. And I was like, what? Sean does Gran Turismo? So I watched... And Sean streamed a little bit, so I watched a couple of his races, and I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to do this. Yeah. So I got my setup ready. We started racing online, and then was it about a year later?
Yeah, 8 months, a year later. Then Mike.
Yeah,
Mike was watching all the time. He kind of joined in, and then we just kept going. And then Todd was watching, joined in. We're like, hey, you want to join? Because he was a good driver, he was fast, and same with Jermaine. Started watching. We're like,
yeah.
Dude, we got lucky and got a good group of guys that wanted to join the team.
We've had a few turds, thanks to me.
Just a few.
Yeah,
that's part of all of like the team culture and everything. Like I know there was one point in sport where all of a sudden everybody was like on teams. Like 1 month, it just all changed early on in sport. And I got, like you guys know about the PX7 team. I thought that team helped me a ton. Right. But there's also like a part of teams where like people like aren't exactly loyal, and like they find like some other team that for like the flavor of the month team that they want to go to. They'll like jump around like team to team. I have one friend that's been on like every other team that I can think of right now.
Oh wow.
It's really fast, but like it's like, what is like the real point at some point when you're jumping around?
Yeah.
I think what you guys have is the way to do it. We're like close to your friends. Nobody's really leaving anytime soon. Everyone's loyal. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Especially if there's no money involved. I don't think any of these teams are really paying anybody, so I don't see why people jump around so much. Like the promise of a rig or the promise of a wheel is like not enough for me to like ditch my boys. Like if that's just a wheel or a rig. If it's like $1,000 a month, that's different. But nobody's getting anything like that.
No.
Yeah.
We just like hanging out, racing, having a good time.
Why don't you race with the GSR moniker?
Only because that's like already my name, so I don't feel the need to. I have the PX7 tag because I was the only PX7 person to put it in the nickname, and then pretty much I'm the only person on PX7 right now. They all kind of left and made it AMS. Like they all wanted to be on AMS real bad, and we're gonna like kill the team. They were saying the team's like name was like a replacement name for Turismo. It's like not that important to them. I'm like, I feel completely different. I'm just gonna keep the tag going.
Okay.
Yeah,
and that's why I still run. I have like full control over that brand. If I want to do something, or if I ever make it appealing to them, maybe they'll want to come back. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
Well, since you've been doing it for so long, what are some suggestions that you would give to a team like ours? Number one of the things that we never wanted to do was be big. Yeah. When Sean and I were like 8 to 10 members at the most, because anything bigger than that, it seems like you just lose something. What else could you suggest to us or anybody else that is wanting to start or has a race team and want to make it better? What are some suggestions you would give us?
I would say just like communicate openly about what the goals are and like what you guys are trying to do. And that's like the best way to like avoid any like misunderstandings with people. Like for sure, if like somebody like decides they want to like come in and out, like maybe have like a standard procedure for like someone coming in, like the way to like see like if they're a good fit for you. But like we had like at one point PX7 had like a almost like a questionnaire thing that we would give people who were like wanted to join or something. It's definitely important to like not like mix up the team too much and like bring people like in like at random.
Yeah,
because like you said, you can have people that don't work out or aren't aren't on the same like whip page as everybody else.
Right. Yep. And communication, like you said, is the biggest thing. Good communication.
I got
Definitely
a question as
something.
well. With speaking with teams and whatnot, with these, I'd have to say sudden in the last couple of years, sudden explosion of sim racing in the culture and the communities. And that, do you see a possibility of, like you're saying, paid sponsorship driving?
I mean, there's already some stuff that people get paid for. There's people like Hellsfire, who has like the Medicaps sponsor from Brazil, like these local sponsors. Benelli has like a car dealership, a Mercedes dealership in Brazil that loves him and pays him. I think it's up to each person and organization to like find their way of, making sim racing, be something that helps, provide revenue also if it's possible. It's like the hardest thing to do. If you go back like 4 or 5, 10 years ago, like really nobody was able to do that in any way. And now things have changed a lot, especially after COVID. Now there's like real series in real life that have like sim rounds. And I have other business things that I'm trying to do with a friend named Tom Alley that we're trying to work on some stuff with sim racing and going further with, the wider community of it, trying to spread it.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely believe that it's more unique than any other esport. The fact that the skills translate really well to a real car. And you can't say that about anything else.
Now with the recent, obviously a couple of times now, the 24-hour virtual racing and that with the big names entering and stuff like that. If the, say, future stability of sim racing and that gets better and whatnot, could you see actual, like, say, FIA race league like the WEC and IMSA, things like that, developing into full esport as well?
I mean, I think that they're looking for their way to make money from it all. They want full control over whatever comes of what's happening now. I've had some contact with people who work in the FIA and people who have like FIA clubs in their country that have like they go to like the end of year events in Europe and everything. And I think it's something the FIA has shown from their actions that they're trying to make as much money as possible from sim racing, and they don't really know how to do it yet. That's why they'll like switch their contract from Gran Turismo to another company. They're trying to like figure out what works for them. Right. At one point, they wanted to push a digital license system, almost like a digital passport sort of thing. And everyone was like, "What is this? Like, this is just like paying money just to like do what you want on your game. Essentially, this is dumb." So, like I said, they're just trying to like do some subscription-based money-making scheme as best they can.
Okay.
Like any other large sports organization, there's like corruption and things that like are part of the FIA. FIFA is a good example of corruption in sports.
Right. Oh boy, yeah, FIFA's bad. Oof. Boy, watch
FIA
that movie.
FIA
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like the same sort of level of shady stuff with like all types of things like oil companies and things like that.
Well, I'm just gonna say wiry racing in the Middle East right now with the Formula One series. I got some issues with that. I think they're great tracks, but at the same time, I think there's a responsibility on the world stage for the FIA and Formula One in any race league to really look at where they're having their events. And I have serious issues with Saudi Arabia and Bahrain and Qatar and any of those races just because of human rights issues. And I know I'm not exactly the most touchy-feely person, but I have, especially being part of the LGBT community, I've got serious issues with how people are treated over there, or killed, murdered for their sexuality. I've got issues with that. But going on to something a little bit more happy and exciting.
On a brighter note.
On a brighter note, I think we might do something a little bit different for Coach Mike's Corner.
Ooh, what's that?
I was thinking, so how much of the daily races have you gone over this week, Grove?
You mean the new ones?
The new ones, yeah.
We did 2 or 3 today.
Okay.
And have you done B and C?
Yeah, race A I was going to do, and then I was like, you know what? I don't have the Ford RS Cosworth. I don't think a lot of people in the chat have it. Maybe I do have it actually, but I decided we would do Manu instead of race A today.
Okay, so we're gonna do this. Hey, our Coach Mike.
Yeah.
Do you mind if you step aside and maybe we get Coach Mike Grove Street to give us some tips on race B and C?
Yeah, by all means.
Let's hit it.
We're gonna play the music, Sean.
Oh yeah. Coach Mike, Grove Street.
Oh, Coach Mike.
Edition.
Oh, Grove Street. All right, Grove. Give us some pointers on race B.
Race B is a combo we've seen before in Gran Turismo. It's racing mediums in GR3 at Laguna. It's a track a lot of people like.
Oh yeah.
Especially American drivers like it because it's our home track there
Yep.
in the game. But the Porsche works really well. I think if people pick the Porsche, it's a lot like race C this week, where that car will treat you well for race B next week. It's just a straight shot in race B always. So with the mediums, the Porsche will handle that really well. I was using the Ferrari and having fun today.
Oh nice.
I think the Suzuki that I've grown to like a lot would be really good there. Any of the power cars would be good there. Laguna's like a mixed variation track where almost any car could probably be decent at it.
Right. I know. I want to use the Viper.
A lot of cars will be good there.
Just because.
Sean loves the Viper. Now
I do.
we have 24-hour of Le Mans, no chicane in the Group 4 cars. So I was just looking at that. I'm thinking GTR.
Ray-Ron.
People were saying that like, why is that one being slept on by everybody? But I'm not sure the GTR's top end is so great for that one. It's really fast, up to a certain speed. It accelerates well, but I don't know if it's going to hit the same top speed as like the Viper's the second fastest one. The Ferrari's pretty quick on top speed down the Mulsanne Mega Straight. But the Bugatti is definitely going to be a contender. I think the Bugatti, if you have a train of Bugattis at the front, they would be the fastest cars. But it also seems that it's pretty balanced, where like I was using the Ferrari today, and I'm able to pull away from people in the Bugatti through all the handling sections. So it's going to be, pretty wide variety of cars, especially on the first day for that one. It's a no stop race. You can use any tires, but I think it's racing soft is the way to go for all of them for 5 laps.
Now, let me ask you this: does the Ferrari, can it stick with the Veyrons if you're in the draft?
Yeah, it actually can, surprisingly. The Veyron doesn't go past 166 when it's in clean air by itself, and the Ferrari will hit 165 behind it, so it's pretty close to staying with it, if not
nice.
Right behind it. It could be fine in the draft train. And then when you go to braking and cornering, the Ferrari can leave people who are using the Bugatti. But I think there's going to be people who are using the Bugatti and will be able to find a higher level with it. If not, then that'll be a really interesting week to see what car comes out on top.
Yeah.
Nice.
I hope the Ferrari one.
What would you say your dark horse pick of a car could be for an alternative?
For GR4?
Yeah.
Somebody today was in the Lambo. Lambo was looking really good, I would say. It was Monster Fox. The Lambo was good, and there was also one other that was looking good today, but I'm struggling to remember. Oh, the Lexus was there. There's a couple other decent ones.
Interesting.
Any of the power cars in GR4. Any of the faster top speed. Citroen might be, but I mean, it has a 7th gear that's really long, but not a lot of power for that 7th gear.
What about the McLaren? What would you say?
McLaren might be in the top 5 like fastest GR4 cars, so it'd probably be good.
Okay.
Jeez, you're popping up a lot of cars that I like to drive that aren't the Veyron.
Same.
Yeah.
I won't drive that
be the
thing.
best car. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Veyron. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see. The Veyron's competitive.
That big
for sure,
tank.
this one.
Heck yeah. Driving that beast.
The boat.
Obviously, I just wanted to kind of go back to like your Grove with like you and your streaming and your racing for a second with the dailies. Like when you come across these races where it's basically a one make or bust, obviously you want to do well and place well in the races, but do you also enjoy more of doing alternate cars just for the heck of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think everyone prefers the variety. That's why the Manufacturers Cup Series is like so beloved, because like everyone knows that it's going to be variety on the grid, and that it's like a thing that people like about it, that it locks you into a car and you have to stick with it. People really engage with that in a big way. So I would prefer the same thing if there's like a mix of cars, but at the same time, I come from a league with that snail.org league that I told you about, where one make racing was all they did with like, no tuning at all. So it was like spec racing is what they called it too. That is really what I came up with. And I don't mind if it's like a meta car week. I could care less what car we're using, honestly, sometimes.
Yeah. Now, do you have an alternate account or just one main? Like,
I have my European Grove Street account. I have South American account that I made a long time ago. There's a New Zealand account. I have a bunch, but I pretty much just stick to the main account unless it's Sundays when I'm doing EMEA, and I don't use the other ones.
Okay. Now,
Especially with this game.
do you start the week like some with like from the back of the pack, or?
I tend to not do that because it'll, like today was a good example where I like fell back in the race and was coming through again, or I started race A from the back, and it's just like it causes problems with people who you watch like Cyrus' stream or other people who race from the back like Key, and they're like, you know, getting into like confrontations with people who like, you know, don't expect them to be like faster.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't really belong at the back of the grid, like in getting into scuffles with like random people. It's more fun for me to be at the front with like the best people around.
Yeah.
And sometimes European people will come over to my region and join. And racing from the back is fun, but I also like would not want to do it regularly. I usually do like one a week or a couple a week at the most.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Oh,
you see like Cyrus' stream, and there's times where he's like calling people names and stuff like that, and it's like uncalled for, and it's like pretty constant too, and it's like real, like, you know, these people are just like trying to have their fun. They don't want to be overtaken because you shouldn't be there. Right. I realized that a long time ago that this is just like a good way to like piss people off.
Yeah. Well, yesterday
I don't know what you're talking about. I never cuss at people. What are you talking about?
Never watch our streams.
Right. And it's like when you're doing that too, you're also driving in a very desperate way, and it's like you're making moves that really aren't even like fair to the people you're making them on, because you're trying to like fly through the pack in like a desperate, you know, way to keep up with your buddies who are doing the same thing. So I really don't think that's the way to go.
Yeah. The Z28 does
here you go, making sense.
Starts from the back. I was in a race with him yesterday, and at one point he ended up behind me, and we were doing pretty good. I wasn't going to just let him by, but I knew he was there. And then coming out of that chicane at Nürburgring GP, I caught the curb and just spun out. And then I went back to his stream just to watch it, and it was hilarious because he does all the WWE sound bites.
Oh, dude,
so as soon as I spun out, he hit it. And then he's like, he felt it. The Undertaker was coming, and he played the bells. I was just cracking up. I was like, I did feel it, and I sensed it, and I got nervous and hit the dirt. Oh, it was hilarious. Yeah, he's funny.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Who do you really enjoy racing with that is at your skill level, and who do you? Is there? Oh, maybe don't name them, but how many people are there that you just go when you see them in the lobby with you?
There's a bunch of faster people. I mean, the faster the better. I've had been lucky to make like clips with like really quick people like Didico, who's Antonio Carazza, and or Adriano Carazza, and then Igor is another person that I've raced on daily races and have clips of me like overtaking him.
Oh, nice.
Like those are definitely like the best experiences when I have someone really quick there to like test my level, because there's times where like I'll surprise myself. So that's the only time I really can find where my real level's at. A lot of the times I can't find my best until I'm pushed to go and do it.
Right. Hell yeah.
Now, are there people that you get into a room and you're just like, I know this is not going to be awesome because they just are bastards when it comes to racing, like that are just dirty?
Yeah, there's one guy that I think of first because he got me mad. I was beating him at Trial Mountain when we had that one about 2 months ago, and I was winning against like the meta car. I was in the Ferrari and he's driving something else. And dude took me out at the final chicane, like totally on purpose to make sure I didn't win. And I took that pretty seriously. But his name is Test Account. His other alias goes by unknown. So that's one person that, like, when I see him in the lobby, like, I'm going to make sure I try to win that one. And, you know, I will definitely remember being taken out when I was going to win.
Oh.
But like, other than him, there was like Luis Denizio. I don't want to like give these people any shine at all, but there's people that like you don't want to get pretty clearly.
Yeah, he's got a new account too.
He's got his new account too.
I feel like those people, including the Test Account guy, they have to do dirty stuff like that because, you know, it's like they're just not quick enough. Like they don't trust themselves to get it done any other way. They can't take a loss.
Right.
Sore loser people.
Yes.
I know. Like we're all discussing it obviously and we're talking about it, but what is your like with all the like it would be mainly the European big streamers and whatnot that do a lot of, I'd almost say, glorification of the dirty drivers and giving them the spotlight and, you know, making them famous. Like, what do you feel about that and all that kind of video footage of it?
Yeah, I mean, I totally know what you're saying. Like, I feel like there's probably a video a week released by one of the bigger streamers, like that's like Dirty Driver, like this and that. It definitely is a point where you're like glorifying it, where you're like, it's something that they know will get clicks, like the drama stuff. So, I try not to focus on that. I'm trying to like, do the best that I can to like make clean racing and not let that be something that holds me back. It's not fun to like have to deal with people like that, for me at least.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a funny one. So, when we were getting ready for High Speed Ring group, was it group 3 or group 4 for
Group 4?
Group 4 manufacturers. It's how we met Mullet.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he was wall riding in our lobby. And, we had our practice lobby up. And I was like, fuck you. That's not allowed. You don't do that. Like and he was like, well, if it's allowed and they don't penalize, then I'm cool with that. I'm going to do it just to win. And there's, the stream, this is all live. So he's on stream with me. And I'm like, dude, that's cheating. That's cheating. What you're doing is cheating if you're wall riding. How do you feel? And by the way, I love Mullet. Mullet's great now. We've gotten past those and we have a great time. And just ask him about Bellycam.
Bellycam.
But how do you feel when
Mullet's
PD?
probably our biggest fan.
Oh,
Yeah, I love
He's
Mullet.
actually, he's a part of why I'm here. We've spoken about.
Yeah, we want to have him on next.
Yeah, we're gonna have Mullet on too. So when PD makes a mistake and something like that becomes allowed, how do you feel about taking advantage of the mistake that they made? What are your feelings on that?
Typically, like I remember one of the first ones was when they had the curb glitch at Yamagiwa, and you'd have to like ride the curb at high speed, and you could like lock onto it like rails.
Yeah,
and,
cars like even.
Some of them are like super difficult to pull off, and like that one was fun to do, and I got like it just looked like more and more fun to try to hit that perfectly. But there's other ones like the wall riding that like I remember for that GR4 race with the rain and everything. Actually, that wasn't the rain one. I guess that was the other one. The rain one was the test season rain one was a whole different story. The one with the wall riding, I remember making a poll in my stream because I wasn't sure what to do. I wanted to obviously do well, but at the same time, I realized from watching streams earlier in the day, like the amount of heat anybody would get if they wall rode, like in the chat, was like unbelievable. Like, wow, like, people really care about this. So I'm gonna ask my stream what they think. And the poll in my stream was the same way. It was like 80% of people saying like, "No, you monster, don't wall ride." It was like the option I gave them, and the other ones like, of course, like try to win. So everyone voted for no, you're a monster, don't do it.
Right.
And I ended up not wall riding to please my stream. I don't care either way. I want my people who watch me to be happy. I don't want to like be called a cheater when I'm not one. So
yeah,
I didn't mind like, my ego being like pushed back to like, intentionally go slower.
Yeah, well that's good because I just feel that I'm super competitive. I love winning. Believe me, I love winning. I hate losing, but I don't want to win because of a glitch.
Yeah, no.
And I hate losing because of a glitch that I won't participate in. It makes me more furious than anything else. And that'll be the first thing that'll stop me from doing a race is something like that too.
I think these things like add character to our game also. Like this game is, like I said, the community is like so strong and like we have so many funny things to like, enjoy like that, like memories like that where the game's like broken but still playable. That was like a fun one where I had like a crazy thumbnail of like all the sparks and everything with everyone doing it. So I look fondly back on the wall riding days. I didn't do it, but I thought it was hilarious that was like such a big, like the whole community was like huge. Like riled up over this. Like how could anyone be wall riding? Like every like split of menu, everyone was like focused on the wall riding.
What was your reaction to the real life NASCAR wall riding?
It's vindication for all the wall riders. So there you go.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Harlan is one of my favorite YouTube channels, and they had this dude come on that channel. The Ross Chastain like came onto Cletus's channel, and they did some wall riding like at his private track, the Freedom Factory race.
Nice. I need to watch that.
That's one of my favorite channels.
So good.
Yeah, I love watching Cletus.
It's the best.
It is. Is there any other YouTube channels, speaking of YouTube channels, that you watch? Just like regular car stuff?
I like Hoovie's Garage, the car track stuff.
Yeah. They were just over here in Oregon on one of their last episodes.
I watch a lot of YouTube. If I'm ever not streaming and people are wondering where I'm at, it's usually like I'm trying to like watch some YouTube myself.
Right? They have so much car stuff nowadays. I love it. And then all the race series
I pay for
have
YouTube
their
Premium, so I don't see commercials. So it's nice to just like enjoy YouTube these days. I think that's the most worth it subscription of all my subscription based things that I have.
Nice.
You need to hit me up later. I can solve a problem for you.
So do you have
to pay for it?
Or do you have a dream?
Does it work for me?
For your favorite car?
Favorite car has always been the CLK GTR road car.
Okay.
All right. Oh, seeing
like
that in real life.
Car. I don't think I'd be getting that one. Like an attainable car would be like a 911 or something. A Ferrari would be cool.
Yeah.
More attainable car.
Nice.
Are you a save the manual, or do you prefer like a dual clutch?
So over the last year, I've owned like 6 different cars. I had a really nice Yaris back in 2020 that I sold. But I mean, I've had a manual Honda Fit, a manual Chevrolet Tracker in the past year or so. Those 2 were great, and it was like my first time driving manual in like 3-4 years. I definitely enjoyed every minute of driving manual and prefer that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Thank you. So do I.
Like,
save the manual.
Like,
like,
using one foot to like hit the throttle and the brake at the same time. I'm like really good at heel toe downshifting now. I've never been that good in a real car, so I know next time I do a track day in a manual car, it'll be amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good skill to have.
Awesome.
It is.
I work at a shop. I deal with customers all the time, and I love when a car comes in and it's a stick, and I'm just like, oh god, people that can drive.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna take this around the block real quick and make sure everything's
I said at the gym the other day. I think I had it was a 5-speed Fit or something like that, and I was like, I just want to go rally racing.
Oh yeah, he sends a picture, and I was like, oh boy, that car's gonna go for a ride. That car is gonna go for a ride.
I was just like, oh man. Because I love it too. I grew up in everybody, all my friends, we all had manual, and it was just
It's definitely way better. It's nice to have instant throttle control as a driver. When you're really at a high level, you want the full control like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would never say I'm at a high level. I just love driving a stick. Always have. So the first car that I had was stick. So I just love this stick.
Broke was it was a VTEC, like a 1.5 VTEC engine. I was revving it like pretty consistently to like 7,000, 6,500, like all the time. So it was a great time with that car until it died.
Oh shit!
It just makes driving experience more enjoyable.
It does.
It does.
Especially on the back roads. You're cruising the back roads.
Like, I'm sorry, I find like just putting my foot down and holding the steering wheel boring.
Yeah.
You know,
it's better in traffic. It's better for everything. And people say it's really bad in traffic, but as long as your clutch isn't like a race car clutch and isn't
super heavy,
extra heavy, I think it's better to just sit in first gear and like kind of like coast around, like just letting it roll. And when you do want to like move through traffic with your first gear, you have like all this like instant power to do what you need to do, and nobody else can really do anything about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed. And
so what is your current car situation?
I have I got a new car just like 2 days ago, and I should have made a video already. I found a car through a coworker. I had been looking for about a 3-4 week period where my Honda Fit had like compression loss because of my spark plug maybe breaking apart. I pulled out spark plug and coils after misfire started on my Honda Fit, and part of the electrode and copper core were missing from a spark plug. So I brought it to a mechanic, and they said get rid of the car. It's got no compression on 2 cylinders. And since then I've been looking at stuff, but I found a car through a coworker that was an 02 Camry that was garaged with 70,000 miles and was like really barely driven. So I bought that.
Yeah.
The guy was the kindest guy in the world. He sold it to me for $1,600 and only allowed me to pay $8 on the day. He's like, please save your money. Like, you can pay half to my daughter like next time. It's not a big deal.
Nice.
Oh, awesome. That is
I just bought like a $5,000 car for $1,600 the other day.
Good. Yeah. That Camry. Yeah, that's fairly broken in.
It's a V6 XLE Camry.
Oh, nice. Sunroof, leather, power seats, the works. Nice.
It's really comfortable.
Oh yeah.
It seems like you had a little bit of some string of bad luck for cars there for a bit there.
It's my own fault though for such high miles. Like, hopefully that one's better. And I have my other Sequoia still. I bought 2 Sequoias in the last year. My
The black
2005 Limited Sequoia is at my mechanic since like the end of November when I had major overheating issues due to head gasket. I have a video of like the thing spraying from the radiator while I'm like on the side of the highway on my way to work. So that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be selling that, but I did find through a coworker again, a husband of a coworker that does engine swaps. I've been in contact with him about what would it cost, what would it take if I wanted to keep that vehicle. I do like having SUVs a lot, actually.
Well, they probably help out in your, somewhat cold winters in Connecticut. So
it's just comfortable too. It's nice to like, have that safety. Also, like driving around in my Chevy Tracker, which was like a mini SUV.
Tiny.
Like I felt very exposed
Tin
with the
can.
car. It's like a convertible
Tin
essentially.
can, right.
You close the door and it's very much tin can sounding door. And it's like I know if I got in a big accident with this, like I hit, I'm
Right.
fully trapped in here, crushed, and I'm never going to be the same. But in a big SUV, I've seen in the Sequoia groups online, people take hits from 18-wheelers and their family survives. So I definitely want another big SUV whenever I can get one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sequoias are awesome.
I was just thinking at the same time.
I'm like fully into the idea of like letting YouTube become like me just hoarding cars. I wouldn't mind that at all. I'm that kind of person.
either. Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be a lot of fun for me.
That's not good for business.
It hasn't worked out yet, but I'm not going to buy any more 200,000 mile plus cars if I don't have to. It better be really nice.
Yeah. Hopefully this Camry serves you, the next couple years, and yeah,
that one's not getting sold. I don't think. I honestly want
it should
build a garage in my property for it because it's never really been outside overnight until the last couple days. It's has zero corrosion the entire thing, so I feel bad that it's outside right now. But I want to be able to take care of something nice if I get something nice in here. So a garage might get built by my bare hands over the next few months. If I can find the parts. My neighbor's good at this sort of thing, who helps me with all my mechanical things, and I know I can rely on him to help me make a parts list and lay things out. And eventually, he's going to just end up helping me do it. But I want to have him at least set me up to get started.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You should do a video if you do that. That would do well.
Building a garage from scratch, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd watch
Or
it.
that or a carport or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't have a garage or a basement at my house. I own a home. That was my mother's home up until a couple years ago, and I'm very lucky to be here and stream from here and support it with the streaming now a little bit.
Nice.
So I have all the rights that I need. Like I don't have like parking requirements or anything. I can hoard a dozen cars in my yard if I want to, and nobody can say anything to me.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Have the space to do it.
Good deal. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
it's awesome.
Well,
It's I think both Sean and I are thinking the same thing.
yeah. Well, I think that's about going to wrap things up for this episode, guys. Just want to thank Grove for coming on again. We really appreciate it. Good talking to you.
Awesome.
Learning.
Hey, you're welcome, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're not as goofy. We're sorry for not being goofy and being more serious, but it's like we want to get to know you a little bit better than just hearing what you're doing online and or racing against you. So we appreciate everything that you do for the community.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that one race we had here not too long ago. God, where was it? It was Mike, Jimbo, Grove was in it.
The Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a good race. Oh, we're like, keep going, Mike.
He did.
Keep going. Jimbo, go.
Like a tenth behind Sim or Jimbo at the very end.
Yep.
I remember
that was me.
Yeah, because you got past me, and then you're closing in on
my
Jimbo.
Pants. I'm like, protect every apex. Protect every apex. Do everything I can.
That was a super fun week too, because that was the week that I ran into Super GT, like on his Scott check.
Oh, okay.
Video.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He commented on my video after I made it, and it was like amazing, and like had all these views. That it's by far my most watched upload. That one from Gardens.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I love that track too.
Yeah,
both directions. I love that track both directions. So that was a lot of fun, and it was like me. I'm just like, oh god. Well, I'm like, block him as long as you can, Sean. Block him as long as you can. I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe coming around there and seeing you in the wall. I was like,
yeah. I had
God has thrown a gift my way.
We're like, Grove is off. Grove is off.
Well, that's the thing is, I was right behind Grove, and I was like just everything I could to keep up with you. And then you binned it in the chicane, and I was just like, "Oh my God, he crashed!" Oh my God. And then I
was
crashed.
definitely caught off guard by that crash too. I think I used one of the overtakes on one of you guys for a video too. There was like a hairpin overtake on one of you that like I definitely ended up using for something. So
nice.
that was a good
That's
race.
awesome.
Probably, yeah.
No, that's a lot of. Every time we get a race against you,
That's
if you make a mistake, it's always a challenge. I'm like, all right, Grove is behind me.
Yep.
Now I go into like super racer mode and do everything I can to make sure you can't pass me because I need the points. I need the points.
And the funny thing is like a race like that at Gardens with you and watching you crash and having you drop way back to the back.
11th.
We all knew well and good you were still coming to the front again.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know you guys know too. Like at that moment, it's like, okay, now I have to like really try like to even have. I drove my best and didn't quite make it.
We knew you were coming back though. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Like we all knew.
We
it
were
was
like,
just
okay,
how can we hold him off
closer
the
and
whole
closer.
time?
Yep.
It's coming. Oh shit! Okay, somebody. Oh, who's first? All right, you block him first. Okay. It gets through
I
one of
definitely
us.
would have
Okay.
put Gardens in my worst tracks, like the ones that I really don't like, not long ago. But at this point, it's like they're all the same to me. Like I have a really good attitude about learning new tracks. I feel like when we got Road Atlanta, that was one where I like had an opportunity to like just throw myself into it and see how quickly I could get good at it, and it went well. So I think
it's a great track.
It is.
On them.
I know. Once
I'm
you
still
find the
working it
flow,
out.
once you find that flow on each track, and you get used to it, yeah, they're great. It's good stuff.
Yeah, if you watch my stream from last Monday, there you'll know what my feelings for Atlanta are. I knew I shouldn't have done this.
Atlanta's tough. It's so unforgiving. Like turn one is like the worst. You just go into like the shadow realm right away at turn one.
Yeah. Well, my biggest thing is I'm mid pack usually, and I end up with idiots sticking their nose when they really shouldn't be putting it and causing problems, and then it's off the track you go, and it's frustrating just because of people.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah. It is. Well, thanks again, Grove, for coming on. We appreciate it. You want to let the people know that don't know where to find you?
Your social medias.
Yeah, it's Grove Street Racing across everything. Instagram and YouTube are the two that I put the most work in. So definitely check out Instagram if you've only seen YouTube. Instagram, I put a lot of work in, and I feel like it doesn't get as much attention as it should. But I look at my Instagram versus other Instagram pages, and I think mine's really special. So check that one out.
Oh yeah, check it out, everybody. And you can find us PDX_sim_team on the Instagrams. And then you can find me at PDX Sim on the YouTube and PDX Sim Racer on the Instagrams. Where can they find you, Jimbo?
Oh, it's easy. It's PDX_Jimbo_Racer on the YouTubes and the same on the Instagrams. What about you, Mike?
You'll find me on the YouTubes at the PDX_N_Mixmasker with a K. And that's pretty much it where you find me.
Oh, yeah, Todd.
And on the YouTubes, Vogues 55, VOGZ 55 on YouTube.
And the man with the sweet pipes that can sing his ass off. Where can they find you, Jermaine, to hear that sweet voice?
I'm mostly on Instagram, and that's Jermaine Leo. Last name spelled Leont. So that's where I'm mostly at.
Perfect. Well, it was a good episode. Thanks, everybody.
Luck racing.
Yeah, have a good week racing. That's for sure. It
Thanks,
should be a good one.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it was a good
Yeah, it
one.
was great. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
So
we
enjoyed it.
will see you
We'll have
on
to have
track.
you on again.
Yeah,
We'll see you tomorrow.
yeah, we'll see you on track, and you're welcome anytime.
Excuse me. We'll see you tonight. Sorry, not tomorrow. It's tonight.
It's Monday, remember?
It's Monday. I forgot. It's Monday.
morning.
Technically, where Mike is, it is Monday, but yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yep.
It
That's
is.
technically.
All right, everybody.
Yeah,
Until next
everybody.
time, we will see you next Monday morning. Peace.
Have a great week racing.
See ya.
Woo!